welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we've got big things planned. I'm going to be going through every single 2022 movie release that I've seen this year. We've got 37 movies to go through, so I want to start pretty much straight away and let's get into it. I saw a variety of movies this year from Netflix, Disney and Amazon, as well as movies that I saw in the cinema. So some are like originals to those streaming services, and I will tell you which ones those are. There is a wide variety of ones that actually worked out and ones that didn't. There are a lot of misses for Netflix originals, I feel. Like there were some good ones this year. Let me just say that, there were some good ones. But most were bad. And most of the Netflix originals, sadly, are at the end. But that's okay. Stuff has to go to the end. So I'm going to go from worst to best, and the first movie being the worst movie, the 37th movie on this movie list, is Home Team. Now this is a Netflix original and it's actually based on a true story. It's about the NFL coach Sean Payton, who was suspended from coaching his team and then ended up coaching his 6-year-old football team. The reason this is so low for me is I often don't watch sports movies because it's not my kind of movie. Like, I don't even know why I watched it in the first place. The main sports movies I like are related to gymnastics and dance and stuff. Like, I don't really watch many sports movies to begin with, but there are better ones. There even is one really high up on this list now. Like, this one was not good. I wouldn't recommend. I would not recommend. I think it was a kids movie and it was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't. It wasn't really at all. And for me, someone with huge emetophobia, there's a scene in there that's like terrible, like so much vomit. Oh. And so unnecessary as well. Like, why did we have to see all that? I don't know, maybe that's why it's so low on the list. But I don't know, it just wasn't great. It wasn't funny, there was nothing great about it. I mean, it's a true story, so I'm sure the people that it's like made about love it. And if you like football, maybe you would like it, but me, no. I didn't like it. The next movie was The Interceptor. This was also a Netflix original, and it was about a remote missile interceptor that was under attack by like terrorists. I don't know. I guess terrorists because they want to bomb, I don't know, was it America? I don't really know. It was not very memorable. It was very like basic for an action movie. It was predictable, and the main actor, I can't even remember her character's name because it was not very memorable, but she should have died at least 5 times. There is no way she would have been the only one left that survived. But it was just really badly done, I feel. Yeah, I said in my notes that it was boring and predictable, which it was. But like, if you like action movies and you just wanted one to put on in the background, I'm sure it'd be fine, but it's not one that you'd sit there and go, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, it just wasn't all there, you know what I mean? There was no substance. It was predictable. You knew what was going to happen, so really there was no point in watching it. The next movie is Love and Gelato. Now, I had such high hopes for this movie because I loved the book, but I do have a TikTok on my TikTok all about the disappointment that this movie was. But it was not like the book at all. It literally got rid of every single good bit of the book, and that was the movie. Like, take out all the good parts of the book, there's the movie. There was no gingerbread house. Which if you don't, if you hadn't read the books, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. I just had such high hopes. Oh, I didn't even say what it was about. Okay, so it's about this girl named Lena. She's going to Italy after her mother has recently passed away to feel closer to her mother because her mum travelled there when she was younger. So she goes to Italy, she meets a guy, you know, love and gelato. That's what happens. But also in the book, she was meant to live in a cemetery and it didn't happen. I was really disappointed by that. The acting wasn't great either, so it's not like there were even some good bits about it. I don't know. It just, oh. That was also a Netflix original. See, the first 3 bad ones, Netflix originals, and I think we've got more coming, so what's next? Oh. The next movie, After Ever Happy. What is going on? Like, Oh my gosh, this is the 4th movie in the After series. So, I mean, I didn't have high hopes to begin with. I watched it because I thought it would be funny. The acting's bad and the source material is not much better, so they don't have a lot to work with there. So maybe it's not them as actors, because I've seen them in other stuff and they weren't that bad. I did read the first 3 After books and they weren't great. I never read the 4th one, which is what this one was based off. So I don't know if it was accurate, but it was really bad. Really bad. What else is there to say? It's Harry Styles fan fiction, so was it gonna be good? No. Next is another Netflix original, A Perfect Pairing. This one I didn't have high hopes for. I watched it because Victoria Justice was in it, and I used to be obsessed with her when I was younger because Victorious was one of my favourite shows. This one's about a girl who works for an LA wine company and she wants to get this client, so she goes to Australia. Woohoo! And she goes to this sheep farm slash vineyard. I don't really understand. I mean, yeah, have both, I don't care. But then she meets a guy. Perfect pair. Woohoo! It was like one of those like cheaply done movies, like a Hallmark movie that I never watched, but I'm always around Christmas time, they're on the TV at like 12 o'clock. I've always wanted to sit down and watch one, but like I never can get through it because they're so bad. This is kind of like that same vibe. Like, I know there's so many people out there that like those cheesy movies. This is definitely one of them. They're not my favourite, so that's why it's so low, but it was cute, like, and it was like Australian-ish. So, I mean, yeah, it was predictable, but like in an okay way, like it was alright, but... Next was Zombies 3. I watched this with the kids that I babysit and they were really excited about it because they loved the zombie movies and I'd seen the previous 2 as well, so I was like, sure, I'll watch it, and it was so strange. The only thing that was good about it was the songs. The songs were okay, like as with all Disney movies, the songs are catchy, so it was all good there, but it was so weird, the plot. So the first movie, she dates a zombie, that's where the whole zombies bit comes from. The second movie she finds out she's a werewolf. She's a werewolf, she's the alpha, right? That's, you know, the TikToks where people are like not running, they're like on all fours and they're like pretending to running and the song's like, I'm the alpha, I'm the leader, I'm the one to trust, right? Oh, it's strange that I know the song, but I did watch the movies. So that's from that. That's where that whole thing came from, the Zombies movie. But the third one, we find out that no, she's not a werewolf, she's actually an alien because these aliens come down to the cheerleading competition because that makes so much sense and they want to compete, and then later she finds out that I'm an alien too. What? It was very strange. Next was Me Time. This was also a Netflix original. It had Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg, and I thought, oh, this will be good because those two are generally funny. So I was looking forward to it, but it was really not funny. It's about a stay-at-home dad who needs some me time. So his family goes on a holiday basically and he stays at home and he reconnects with an old friend and they have like a wild weekend. It was not amazing. Like, there are definitely better comedy movies because this was not one of them. I feel like whenever Mark Wahlberg does a comedy movie he acts the exact same, which makes sense because he is himself, but he sounds the same in all of them. You know, when he does a little, you know what I mean, right? Like, sometimes his little high voice annoys me. Like, that's all he does when he's funny. Next was Along for the Ride. Again, another Netflix original. This was based off a Sarah Dessen book, and I've never read that book. But she was quite popular back in the day. This book came out in like 2009, so it's a long time since the book for the movie to come out. But since I haven't read the book, I don't know if it is accurate, but it wasn't that great. It was okay. Like, one of those movies that you'll just like watch on the weekend just because you want to watch a movie. You wouldn't be like looking forward to this movie all week and going, yes, I'm gonna watch this movie on the weekend. Not that kind of thing. It's about this girl whose parents were recently divorced and she goes to spend the summer with her dad and his new family, and she meets a boy. Isn't that how they all go? It's definitely not the best book to movie adaptation I've seen, and definitely not worth it. It was not very memorable, and I only knew the description because I looked it up. That's it. Like, I don't really remember much about it, and I don't think I want to. Next we've got Hello, Goodbye and Everything in Between. This, surprise, Netflix original. Can you tell I like to watch Netflix? But this stars Talia Ryder and Jordan Fisher. I was really excited about that because I think they're both great actors. This was actually the first movie I've seen of Talia's because this was before Do Revenge came out. I knew she looked familiar, and I found out it was because she was in the Deja Vu music video. Crazy. But she was pretty good in this. I liked it. So the whole premise was that the two main characters were dating, but they made this pact to break up at the end of high school, and like, so they know there's no hard feelings or anything, and I'm gonna leave and go to college, you're gonna leave and do whatever, and we're broken up, right? And so they go on one last date before they break up, and they like relive all their favourite parts of the relationship. And it wasn't very memorable. Like, I remember some bits of the date, but I couldn't tell you the ending. I don't know if they ended up together or not. Literally don't have a clue. Do not remember the end. So that says something about that movie. Like, it didn't leave a lasting impression. That's all I have to say. Next was Wedding Season, Netflix original, woohoo. This is about our two main characters, Asha and Ravi, who are feeling pressured by their parents to get partners, and so they make a little agreement to go to all these family weddings together over the summer, and then they fall in love. Wow, who could have thought? But it is fake dating, which if you saw my Q&A video you would know that's one of my favourite tropes, and it didn't disappoint in this. It was cute, it was good, but it was pretty much a basic rom-com. Cute, funny-ish, and it was just like a feel-good movie, you know? I feel like I quite often don't watch movies that go like, oh yeah, that was nice at the end. This was one of them. It was cute. It was good. Next was Senior Year, another Netflix original. Are we surprised? No, we're not. You should know this by now. But this is starring Rebel Wilson. Woohoo, Australia. And Angourie Rice. Is that how you say her name? Angourie Rice? It sounds like a type of rice. Jasmine rice. Angourie Rice. This one is about Stephanie, who ends up in a 20-year coma after a cheerleading accident. Then she wakes up and she goes back to high school as a 37-year-old to experience her senior year. Interesting concept. I was really excited about it. It was good. That's it. It was funny. It was good. I liked it. That's about all I have to say. Next was Moonshot, a HBO original now, changing it up a bit. It had Lana Condor and Cole Sprouse, but it was quite strange, the concept. Like, Cole Sprouse's character, don't remember his name, but he tries and, well, he does make it onto the spaceship, but he sneaks onto a spaceship to get to a girl that he just met. Or to impress a girl he just met. I can't remember which it was. I don't even know if that girl was on the spaceship. Either way, then Lana's character, she's also on the spaceship to go meet her boyfriend who's like on the space station. I don't know. It's not very memorable. I'm having trouble recollecting what happened. But I do know that they tried to help each other, get to each other's significant other, but then they like each other along the way, right? What a surprise. I don't understand how Lana's character has so much money that she can go to space. Like, how does a college student get to do this? I can't remember if her boyfriend paid or something. Either way, they're the same age. So what is going on? I don't understand. It wasn't very memorable, and I mean, watch it if you like the actors, but that's really the only reason to watch it. Next was The Hating Game. I was looking forward to this movie for so long, and some people may say that this movie came out in 2021, and you would be correct. But in Australia, we didn't have access to it until like mid-January, so I'm counting it as a 2022 movie. Sue me, I don't care. I watched it this year, so that's when it is, okay? But I loved the book. It was by Sally Thorne, if you didn't know, and I was just waiting so long for this movie. And how funny, Lucy Hale plays Lucy Hutton. What a perfect thing. And I think she fit the role so well. I don't know about the guy who played Josh, not really how I imagined him, but good enough. Like, good enough, right? So it's workplace rivals to lovers. They're both fighting for the same promotion, so so they're fighting for the same promotion, and then guess what, guys? They fall in love. Ooh, who would have thought? But the only criticism I have for this movie is that we didn't get to see the strawberry farm. I wanted to see the strawberries. We didn't see. They did talk about it though, I think. But yeah, it was a cute movie. I would watch it again. I would recommend. If you liked the book, then I think you'd like the movie as well. Next Netflix original we've got on the list is The Man from Toronto, another Kevin Hart one. This one was actually funny. Unlike Me Time, this one was really good. It was like more of an action movie slash comedy-ish. So it's a case of mistaken identity. So he goes to an Airbnb with his wife, and then he mixes up the address and ends up being mistaken for being the man from Toronto, the deadly assassin. So they team up together and do a mission. The two of them together were really funny, and I just think it was a good movie, a better comedy than some of the previous ones that were lower on the list. Now we've got an Amazon Prime original. This one was called My Best Friend's Exorcism. This was based on a Grady Hendrix book, and I haven't actually read this book, but I did love The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and The Final Girl Support Group, both by Grady Hendrix. They were really good. So I was looking forward to this movie when I saw it, and it was just okay as far as horror movies go. It wasn't really scary. It's about two best friends, Gretchen and Abby, who on their little girls trip with their friends go and look at a haunted house, just the two of them though, and then Gretchen ends up being possessed by a demon. So yeah, exorcism, woohoo! Yeah, but as I said before, for a horror movie it wasn't really super scary. It was set in the 80s, so they did have like some jokes and stuff that were relevant to movies and songs and stuff of the time. So that was interesting. Yeah, it wasn't a terrible movie. It just wasn't overly scary, which I was expecting it to be a little more scary than it was, which is fine. Oh well. Next I saw Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris at the cinema. This one was actually quite cute. It was like a feel-good movie. It's about a war widow, Mrs. Harris. This is set in the 1950s, by the way. And she is a cleaner. And at one of the houses that she cleans, she sees a Dior dress. So she thinks, this is the best dress that I've ever seen in my life. So she goes to France and gets a dress. Amazing. It was really cute. It didn't have like a lot of oomph, but it was cute. Like, I would recommend. It was like one of those like, aww, you know. Next I saw The Adam Project, a Netflix original, and it had Ryan Reynolds. It's about a time traveller who travels back to 2022, this year, who'd thought, and he teams up with his 12-year-old self to save the world. Wow. It was pretty good. I liked it, and I think Walker played a young Ryan so well. Like, he really got those mannerisms down pat. Like, they're like the same person, I swear. From what I remember, this movie was quite funny. I would recommend it. It was a little sci-fi comedy. Cute, right? Nice. Next, I watched Uncharted. This was the first ever movie I saw at the cinema by myself. I literally sat in there and ate my ham and pickle sandwich by myself. That might be weird, ham and pickle sandwich at the cinema, but I was like on my uni lunch break, and so I ate my sandwich in the cinema. What more can I say, right? That is so not relevant to the movie. Let me get into the plot. So it's about Tom Holland's character Nathan Drake, who gets recruited by Mark Wahlberg's character Sully, and they go on a little mission to recover some like fortune or a shipwreck. Is it a shipwreck? I think it was. Is that a part of the fortune? I think there was gold on the ship or something, right? So it's like a little adventure-y thing. It's actually based on a video game. I've never heard of the video game. I also think I'm pretty sure it left on a cliffhanger. I'm not too sure if there's going to be another movie, but I actually don't really remember the ending. But it was interesting, to say the least. It wasn't bad. I would recommend it if you like action adventure movies. This was definitely a good one. Next was Amsterdam. I was so looking forward to this movie because Taylor Swift is in it. This was set in the 1930s and it was about three best friends who have been framed for murder that they witnessed. So it had a great cast, like some great actors, and the acting was really good, but the story was quite confusing. Like, I got it at the end, but while I was watching I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Yeah, I could watch this movie again and still probably not really understand what's happening, but I liked all the cinematography, I liked all the actors together, they were really good, and yeah. The next movie, we've got another action movie and Netflix original, The Grey Man. This has Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Gosling. And he's a CIA agent, I think, but also a previous murderer, I think. I don't know. They got him out of prison to recruit him for the CIA, and then he learnt some dark secrets of the CIA, and he's been hunted by a whole lot of bounty hunters. That's what happens. So it was like pretty much a basic spy movie. Like, he's not really a spy, like a special agent or whatever. I don't know. But it was pretty like basic, but it was good. It was alright. Next, one I was really excited for, X. It's a horror movie. It's like a slasher. It wasn't really like scary. Usually when I think of a horror movie, I feel like it's only scary if it's paranormal. I'm usually fine with like murdery ones, right? This one was murdery. It was murdery. So it's about these filmmakers who go to Texas to film a film, right? And they get murdered by the elderly residents at that farmhouse. Weird as, but very interesting. I really also wanted to see Pearl because that also came out this year, but we don't have access to it yet. I'm patiently waiting, but it's not available in Australia yet. But this one was good. I still can't believe that Mia Goth, the actress that played Maxine, that plays Pearl in the movie Pearl, she was the grandma, obviously. She's not a grandma, but I mean the old lady. Which was crazy to me. Like, they put her in layers of prosthetic makeup. And the special effects were great in the movie anyway, like all the wounds, and the old lady face. I can't believe it. Like, imagine sitting in that chair getting like old lady-ish for hours. It was crazy, but she was really good. What a great actress, I must say. It was a strange movie, but it was pretty good, but I do really want to watch Pearl and see why she became the murderer that she is, right? Next, I saw Ticket to Paradise at the cinema. This has George Clooney and Julia Roberts. Their characters are divorced and they team up to go to Bali and stop their daughter's wedding because she just met the guy that she's going to marry. So they're like, no, you can't do this. Anyway, it was really good. It was funny. The setting was amazing. Great location because it was in Australia. It was meant to be set in Bali, but I'm pretty sure for COVID they had to film in Queensland. Loved it. It was cute. Next, I watched Where the Crawdads Sing. This is based on the book with the same title. Wow, what a surprise. But I don't know if we should be talking about it a lot since the author is actually accused of murder. This is about the Marsh girl, Kaya, who is accused of murder, and it's interesting. I liked the actors. Daisy Edgar Jones, amazing. So the acting was good, but it didn't have a lot of the detail that like I liked about the book. So yeah, if you think you like the premise, then I would recommend you read the book rather than watch the movie, because it does have more of like substance, you know. The next Netflix original that we have on the list is Hustle. This is the sports movie I was talking about at the beginning. This is the good one, right? It's about an NBA coach that goes to scout basketballers, and he goes to Spain and finds a street basketballer and recruits him to the NBA. It was great. It seems like it could have been a true story. It's not, but it was really good. I liked it. It was like a heartwarming, woohoo, go sports movie, right? Basketball. It was great. Good acting as well. Adam Sandler. I think did he direct the movie? No. He did not direct the movie, but he was in it. But the acting was really good, and it made me go like, wow, sports movies? Probably won't watch another one for a while, but this made me have faith in sports movies. Next was, I would say it's a Disney original, but it's not, because in America it's Hulu. We don't have that in Australia, so it's just on Disney anyway. So for me, it was a Disney movie. This is the camera cap thing. Sorry, I'm holding it. If you're elsewhere, I don't know what it would be considered, so I don't know where you would find it. Disney, Hulu, whatever you have, go have a look. But it's called Roslyn, and it was so good. It was a Romeo and Juliet retelling about Roslyn, who is Romeo's ex-girlfriend and Juliet's cousin. So after Romeo and Juliet meet, she wants to get revenge of sorts, and it was just really funny. I loved the ending. Spoilers here if you're going to watch the movie, which I do recommend you watch it. At the end, like by the credits, you see Romeo and Juliet rowing away in their little boat, and they have no conversation because obviously they've just met before they died. They didn't actually die in this one. They faked their deaths so they could be together, which was cute, but they have nothing in common. So it was really funny just seeing like the extent of what they went through, and they don't really even like each other at the end. I thought that was really funny. For a modern day Shakespeare thing, it was actually good. Like, it was funny, it had great costumes as well, great actors, Caitlin Dever and Isabella Merced. Amazing. It was great. I would recommend if you haven't seen it. Next was Scream. This is Scream 5. It's set 20 years after the Woodsboro killings, right? And someone has taken on the persona of Ghostface once again and is targeting a group of teenagers. And it was really good. I liked it. As someone who is a fan though of the original Scream movies and who has seen quite a few of movies with a similar vibe, I did know who the killers were almost immediately. Hate to toot my own horn, but you know, toot, because I got it easily. Like, it wasn't that hard to see. It was pretty obvious, but it was still good. I loved the acting. Jenna Ortega. This was the first horror movie of the year for her, because she was also in X. It was really good. She is like such a horror movie Scream, right? It was really good. And I'm looking forward to seeing more, because I'm pretty sure they've already finished filming the second one of these new ones. And I quite enjoyed seeing like some of the originals that we've had in the previous movies. Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox and David Arquette. And it was great. Next I saw Top Gun Maverick, which, dare I say, I will say it is better than the original. The original one was kind of boring, but I don't really think I need to give a little premise for this because everyone knows Top Gun. It's about Maverick. In this movie, he is now like leading the recent graduates of the Top Gun Academy on a little mission, right? Rooster, Goose's son, Miles Teller, he became the white boy of the month that month from the little dancing scene on the beach. Woohoo. It was a good movie. I liked it. It was funny. It had like good actiony bits. I quite enjoyed it. As I said before, better than the original, would recommend. Next was No Exit, another Disney/Hulu movie. It was a thriller, and my gosh, it was thrilling. It was one of those movies where like you get really sweaty because you're really nervous about what's going to happen. It's about Darby, who discovers a girl that has been kidnapped and is in the car of one of the people that is inside this rest stop that they're all trapped at because there's a blizzard. So she tries to figure out who owns the car, kidnapped this girl. It's crazy. There were so many plot twists that it was so unpredictable. I loved it. Would recommend if you like thrillers. Next was Not Okay, another Disney Hulu movie. And I had been waiting for this for so long. I don't know if they like filmed it in COVID or if they started filming beforehand, but I feel like we've been hearing about it for ages, and it finally came out this year and it was really good. It's about this girl named Dani who poses as a survivor of like a bombing that happened in Paris. So she gets all this sympathy and then she becomes famous on social media and then has to deal with the fallout after people discover that she wasn't in Paris. It was great. It was like cancel culture and like the extent that people will go to for fame. It was crazy. Like, why would anyone do that? I don't know. But it was a great concept for a movie, and I thought it was hilarious seeing all like the micro trends of fashion that were in that movie. Dylan O'Brien was in it, so if you like Dylan O'Brien, he's in that. But it was really funny and I would recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. So now we're at the top 7, which I can't rank because I kind of like them all equally. So from now on it's in like no particular order and I'm just going to talk about them. And I'm starting off with Don't Worry Darling. I was so excited about this movie, like I'm sure so many other people were, because Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, excuse me, how could we not love this movie, right? But so many people were bashing on it, all the critics didn't like it, and I don't know why. Because there was so much drama surrounding the movie, I feel like people weren't having high expectations. But I loved it. I don't know why everyone's saying it's so bad. I really enjoyed it. I think Olivia Wilde is a great director. Like, she directed Booksmart, which if you watched my Q&A is listed under one of my favourite movies. So I think that she did a good job of the movie and it was so great. The concept was so good. Let me read the premise for you now though, because I haven't said that, and if you don't know what the movie's about, then I'll tell you now. So it's about Florence Pugh's character Alice, who's a 1950s housewife, and she lives in this like utopian society. It's like perfect, and all the men work in this big company, and Alice is having suspicions that there are some secrets surrounding the company. So I guess you would consider this movie like a psychological thriller. There were so many twists. It was absolutely crazy. And I feel like you could watch this movie over and over again and still like find new stuff that would connect to the ending. I want to watch it again, but I don't think it's on any streaming services yet. I did watch it at the cinema. It was so good. I think Florence was amazing. If she wasn't in it, maybe the movie wouldn't have been as good. Harry was just okay. Like, there were some bits. I'm sure we all know the bits I'm gonna talk about, but like when he's yelling at Alice, that frown that he did, he tried to do Florence's frown. I don't know, he was like this. He looked like Grumpy Cat. It was so funny. But I really loved the movie. I would watch it again in a heartbeat. I think it was great. And if you haven't seen it and you were like questioning whether to watch it or not because of all the drama that was surrounding it and because of what other people had said, I just say form your own opinion, because I feel like so many people just kept bashing on it and I don't know why. Like, I really liked it. My camera battery's flashing. Ah! This is terrible. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Next, Enola Holmes 2. This is the sequel, obviously, to the first Enola Holmes, which I was really looking forward to. I was so happy with this movie. I love a good mystery. I love old clothes. And I love Millie Bobby Brown, and I think it was great. So now, in the second movie, Enola is on her first ever case, her first solo case, and she's trying to find this missing girl. And she uncovers a dangerous conspiracy that has led to people dying. It's absolutely wild, but so good. Would definitely recommend if you like mysteries. Oh, I don't think I haven't mentioned, so if you didn't know, Enola Holmes, she is the sister of Sherlock Holmes, so that's why she's also solving mysteries, following in her brother's footsteps. It's just a great movie, would recommend. Next, Turning Red. This is a Disney movie, absolutely amazing. It's about 13-year-old May, who whenever like she gets emotional, she turns into a panda. Whether that be excited or angry or sad, she turns into a red panda. I feel like this is like the first Disney cartoon that had like such great representation, and I think that's really important, so I thought it was like great, especially for a kids movie. Like, I feel like kids movies are very plain, you know what I mean? So this one, it was great. It was focusing on Chinese culture. Next, Elvis. I loved it. I think the casting was absolutely amazing. I don't know if I had high expectations at the time for Austin Butler, but he actually did amazing. Like, his singing, didn't know he could sing, but it wasn't bad. And I loved all the costuming and just how it was all edited together, the little montages and how they would like put clips of real Elvis in there as well. It was so good, like so smart as well how they did it. I would definitely recommend you watch it if you haven't yet. My dad didn't watch it. I'm gonna make him watch it. Dad, if you're watching, which you should be, you're watching Elvis soon. Thank you. Next, Batman. This was so good. I mean, we all know what Batman is, so I don't really have to give a premise. Oh, it's getting dark because I'm talking about Batman. Dark and gloomy vibes. But it's about Batman, except in this he's called Vengeance. I'm not sure if he was Vengeance in any of the other ones, but he still uses the bat symbol and everything, and he wears a little bat hat, whatever. But it's Robert Pattinson. But how funny, because in like some vampire books, movies, whatever, vampires can turn into bats. Edward Cullen is Batman. But I thought it was great, and I will say it now, don't get offended, it's just my opinion, but I think DC does superheroes better than Marvel. I said it, I'm sorry if you don't agree, but I feel like the movies are a lot more like intense, whereas Marvel movies I feel are kind of a bit more childish. I don't know. I haven't seen many Marvel movies, but I've seen like Iron Man's, I've seen all the Iron Mans, Spider-Mans, and I've seen the first Avengers, and I've seen Thor, and I've seen Captain America, so I feel like I can make this judgment and go with it, but I prefer DC. I said it. I did not even realise that this movie was like near 3 hours. I sat in that cinema and I was enthralled. I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely amazing. And then Zoe Kravitz, you know what I mean. Zoe Kravitz was Catwoman, the Cat in the Bat, right? It was just really good. Would recommend if you haven't seen it. And don't let the 3-hour bit put you off, because it was really good. The music, the cinematography in general, the color grading, it just made it vibey, you know what I mean? Like you're like, ooh, yes. It was very good. Next, Bullet Train. This one is about a whole lot of assassins that end up on a bullet train, and they don't really know each other. They're doing separate missions, but little do they know their missions are kind of like intertwined. And it was so good. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Joey King, she was amazing in this. I don't know why everyone hates on Joey King, because she is such a good actress, and in this she was so good. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, Joey King. Oh my gosh, Joey King. It was very interesting, very unexpected, had many plot twists, and it was actually very funny. 4 things there was. I would recommend that one. It's great. Loved it. The Woman King. Oh, this one was absolutely amazing. This is inspired by true events of the Kingdom of Dahomey in the, when was it? 18th and 19th century. And it was so good. It's about these women warriors. The fight scenes, oh, so good. Viola Davis. Amazing. Oh, what a good movie. Like, the whole story, as I said before, the fight scenes, they were just so good. Everything about that movie, chef's kiss. would recommend if you haven't seen it. I'm kind of rushing now because my battery is still flashing. How many movies do I have left? We're up to the last movie, the final movie, Do Revenge. Ooh, I loved this. So this is about the two leads played by Maya Hawke and Camila Mendes. They are Drea is Camila and Eleanor, and they decide to do each other's revenge and go after each other's like bullies or whatever, and it was amazing. The plot twist, oh, and it was so good. The costuming, the acting, it was hilarious. I want those school uniforms. Imagine having that school uniform, the little beret. Oh, cute. I want it. Everything was like so good. And I did not see that. I was already talked about the plot twist, but I did not see it coming. Absolutely wild. Would definitely recommend. I feel like so many people were talking about it at the time that it came out, so you've probably already seen it, but if you haven't, here's a sign, go watch it now, because I still can't get over that ending. I might actually just watch it again, because that was such a good movie. Would definitely recommend. So that is every 2022 movie release that I saw this year in 2022. If you saw some good movies as well that released this year, put them in the comments, because I would like to know what else I've missed out on, because there are definitely more. I really wanted to see Bones and All, but I don't think I'm going to see it before the year ends. And Glass Onion. Oh, there's still so many good ones left. So if you've seen them already or you're excited about them too, put them in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos. I think my next video is going to be book related. I'm either going to do my most anticipated 2023 releases or my 2022 year wrap up, which is a lot of books to get through, so I don't know how long that's going to take. But yeah, looking forward to it. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you another time. Goodbye. Hi. Hello. So I saw a variety. This one is about, who's it about? A wine lady. A wine lady? What? Diddly-doo. What was that? To film a film. Obviously they're filming a film. So, I mean, yeah. Oh, how embarrassing. It's about, this is about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. An amazing, I'm holding the camera cap. What am I doing? There are some loud birds out there. They sound like they're dying. I hope they're not.